Hi, I'm Larry Kreider, and I have been blessed, privileged to be a part of the Dove family for almost 44 years. I remember being in my early 20s, and I went to a place near Lancaster City called Mennonite Information Center. And I remember walking in one of the rooms there, and there's this big map of the world, and there are all these little lights on it. And just something happened to me inside. I thought, I would love to be part of a global family of churches. And I left that place that day and I basically forgot it, probably for the next 10 or more years. Honestly, I never wanted to be a church leader. I love Jesus. I love reaching young people for Christ. I love discipling them, helping them grow, teaching Bible studies. So we started to take van loads of young people into churches every Sunday night. And one day we realized that, they weren't fitting into other churches because they were looking for relationship, and we were like their spiritual moms and dads. And so we recognized we may be called to start a church. Laverne's daddy was a pastor, a Mennonite pastor, and one Sunday morning, sitting in their church building between the church service, first there was a Sunday school and then the church service, I remember God spoke to me clearly. He's called me to start something new. And I knew what it was, start a new kind of church. So we started in 1980 with 25 brave people. In fact, more than half of them today are right here still at Dove Westgate Church. People often say to me, how did this family of churches grow from 25 people to like 1,100 churches in 26 countries? How'd that happen? And I say two things. It was just the grace of God. And secondly, God gave us really wonderful, amazing people to walk with and work with. And honestly, when we started the church, I was not thinking at all about that first dream, that first map. In fact, Laverne and I, our church has grown to about 50 people. And we looked at each other one day and we said, wouldn't it be amazing if by the time we're 80 years of age, I'm 73 now, if by the time we're 80 years of age, we grow to become a church of 200 people. That's how big our vision was. But then it became clear as we began to grow and grow and grow that God had something else in mind. And then I remembered the feeling I had, the vision I had, the dream I had when I saw that big map on the wall. I remember, I had a lot of insecurities in my life, and I get really tired of leadership after a while. When I wanted to quit as a leader after I was the senior pastor for about 12 years, I went to my friend Steve Prokopchak, who was on our staff, and he's a counselor. And he said, sure, he's so kind, and he offered some advice, and he prayed with me. Then he gave me, in those days we had cassette tapes. And he gave me a cassette tape. He said, now if you listen to this will help you. So 2 weeks later, in those days, cassette tape players in your car, driving down the road, put the cassette tape in, and the speaker was speaking about leaders who have a Messiah complex. In other words, they think they have to be the Messiah, they have to fix everybody. I listened a little more, I thought, this is so familiar, and I realized the guy on the cassette tape was me. And I had been training future pastors a year before, and Steve gave me my own message. He thought it was really funny. I learned something from that. I learned that all that counts is Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. My significance doesn't come from what people think of me. My significance, my security comes from knowing what God thinks of me. But honestly, it was during that difficult time that I wanted to quit. I remember Laverne and I went up into the mountains here back at Dove Westgate just to get away and pray. And the Lord made it clear to us, He called us. He called us. We weren't called by people, we were called by God. And because He called us, we couldn't quit, because He hadn't uncalled us. I simply encourage anyone, if God has given you a dream and you know it's God, there will be difficult times. And Habakkuk 2 says, look to see what God will say. We hear what God says. Then it says, write the vision down on tablets for a appointed time. There's a process for it to be fulfilled. And then it says that you shall live by your faith. The just shall live by faith. And it's all by faith and trusting Him. God has been so good to us. We feel so blessed to serve Jesus and with the wonderful people He's placed in the Dove family.